know you got a Cowboys fan in Checkmate, they have to start talking about their 5 rings.
Philly,
Look,
this is all.
so that's what you got.
It's small. It's tiny. It's tiny.
It's just one.
One tiny one.
Just one. I'm going to go back and get 5 more. So that way we'll put 5 by Joe Boo, and we'll put 1 by Jetro. But, okay.
So now you want to respect history? Well, let's respect history. I'm your Huckleberry.
You want a war? You're going to get one.
What was that? He had no time for one more play.
He had an opportunity to win that game again.
But the referee screwed us. The brother screwed us.
I'm upset, but
The brother screwed us.
At least they fought back and tried.
only Cowboys game.
You
The brother
literally.
screwed us. The brother screwed us. He had one man opportunity for one more play.
Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here. I hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. Let me first thank each and every one of you guys for joining me on this special event. We are going to perform a double moonwalk out of the ass in June. That's right, it's only June, but it must be done because it is funny. Cowboy fans always accusing Eagle fans of what they do, and I'm gonna have to double moonwalk some ass. Now, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, the most throttled, pause, Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, I just want to thank you so much for all the support you give to me. Now, it is June. It is late June. I am relaxing, trying to enjoy my weekend, and I wake up to Mark Holmes doing videos on me. And in his video, like, everything the guy says is not right. It is not accurate. See, what happened is, Mark does a video, he does about 10, 12 videos a day. 2 or 3 of them are usually about the Eagles or me. Okay, but then I get accused of always doing videos on him. I only respond to him. That's all I'm doing. And I happened to do a video the other day, and I was talking about the comments that Dak Prescott made about winning the Super Bowl. And I think it's funny. I think he's a comedian. I think he's a jokester. It's absolutely hilarious. Well, boy, did Mark Holmes lose his mind. And I can tell you, Mark Holmes is going to lose his mind this year. You can see the pressure of Dak Prescott's career is all on the shoulders of Mark Holmes. It's all on the shoulders of him and many other Cowboy fans because they realize the excuses are running out. They only have so many more excuses. You can't have a guy go 8, 9 years and can't get past the second round of the playoffs. At some point, responsibility has to come forth and be put on him. Now, in that video that I did, the only thing I asked from Mark Holmes was, are you going to hold Dak Prescott responsible? He ignored the question. He never answered the question. And it's something that I still want to know. And then, well, I guess in some ways I got my answer today. Because he does a video talking about how you can't blame Dak Prescott. He had no weapons. He had no Brown, this, that, the other. It's so funny to me because the year before, we went to the Super Bowl. The year we lost to Tampa Bay, he's talking about how we lost to Tampa Bay and Jalen Hurts this, Jalen Hurts that. But when you say, listen, we need more weapons, we need this, oh, you can't say that. But when it's Dak Prescott, it's totally okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your owner's a moron. I'm sorry that Jerry Jones, being 3,030 years old, is a moron. The guy's turned 3,031 years old, and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. All he's got is electricity that shoots out of his fingers like Emperor Palpatine. That's it. I mean, that's what happens when you turn 3,032 years old. He's, he's still walking, he's still moving, taking more liver pills than my uncle, but he's still moving around. 3,334 years old is a pretty big feat. I mean, hey, maybe I'll live to 3,335 years old. I don't know. But the truth of the matter is, the guy is senile at 3,336 years old, and he let Amari Cooper go, he let weapons go, and the Dallas Cowboys took a few steps back. However, even before he turned 3,337 years old and decided to go out and get Cooks and Stephon Gilmore, they had teams that should have been able to go far in the playoffs. They should have been able to go deep, and they couldn't do anything because Dak Prescott could never rise to the occasion. And Mark Holmes is pissed off about it. He is absolutely pissed off about it, and he is not going to be, I'm telling you all right now, he is not going to be able to handle this year. You can see it. It's June. He's already melting down. The guy went to some trophy award thing or whatever. He goes and they sign autographs. I guess it's pretty cool. But the guy starts turning on his own fans, his own fan base. He starts talking about the 5 Super Bowl rings, and then he starts saying that if you can't respect history, then you can't talk about the 5 rings, and no Cowboy you don't know about all the players that won those 5 rings, you shouldn't talk.
Boss Cowboy. Look, there you go. Look, those seats, you can't sit on them. They've been autographed by the great of the great. See, he can talk about, we got 5 rings. See, if you don't know anything about the guys that earned those 5 rings, do not say we got 5 rings. Right?
There you go.
There you go. So that's
when they don't.
That's right. When they don't.
Teams,
there you go. So that's my beef. That's my beef with some of you guys out there. We got 5 rings, and it's like you don't care about Drew Pearson. You don't care about Roger Staubach. You don't care about Bob Lilly. Those are the guys that earned those rings, and they deserve your respect. Amen.
You have to respect history. All right. You want to respect history? Then let's respect history. Because it's funny to me that you pick and choose what parts of history you like. Okay? You want to say, well, then we got 5 rings. The Eagles only have 1 championship. The Eagles only have 1 Super Bowl. Well, if we're really going to be honest, the Eagles actually have 4 championships. So the Eagles are really only 1 behind the Dallas Cowboys. Because if we're going to respect history, Mark, let's respect history. The Eagles won 3 championships before there was even a Super Bowl. Before before your team was just a little floating minnow in your daddy's testicles, the Eagles had 3 championships. 3 of them, all right? So to say and to pick and choose when you like history is ridiculous. The Eagles have 4 titles, 4 championships. They were world champions. They went as far as they could possibly go, and they won. I count those championships. I think they mean something. And matter of fact, the New York Giants, I believe, have 8 championships. So they're ahead of you. Okay, let's be honest. I mean, how far are we going to go back? You want to go back to the 20s, to the 30s, the 40s? Why not? You go back to the 90s. That's almost 30 years ago. You're talking about 5 championships. Now, the truth of the matter is, the Eagles have been more relevant. The Eagles fan base as a whole, a higher percentage of them, have actually seen their team win a championship, where a large majority of your fan base has never seen it. They have never seen you in a championship game. We've been to how many championship games? Like what, 6, 7? I mean, it's ridiculous. Our fan base knows about winning a lot better than your fan base. Now, I get you older Cowboy fans. I understand what it's like. It must be hard. You go from the 90s where you're the talk of the league, and if you need Deion Sanders, go get him. You need Haley, go get him. You could do what you want, right? That's the way it was. Now, you've got an owner who's 3,337 years old, and he can't, operate the same way. Meanwhile, the Eagles get a GM that is like no other GM in the history of sports. And he's constantly aggressive, constantly moving. He's a weapon. And you look at him and you wish you had him. You wish you could be the Eagles. You wish you had the Eagles. You wish you had the receivers, the draft picks, the recent history of the Philadelphia Eagles. You don't have any of that because all your stuff is tied to the 90s. And if we're going to go back to the 90s, then let's go back to the 40s. Let's go back to the 30s. When will it stop? I say, after 10 years, stop talking about your championships from the past. It's 10 years ago. All right? After that, it's time to move on. I've already moved on from 2017. You're still talking about 90s. 90s. And let's face it, the 90s Super Bowls, it was a miserable time for me. I hated watching Dallas be good. It was very hard, but I went through it all because the stupid Minnesota Vikings made that Herschel Walker trade. What a dumb trade. It was dumb then, it's still dumb now, and all those things. So if we're going to talk about history, then let's talk about history. Don't pick and choose when you want to start history. All right? The way the AFL, NFL was, everybody knew back in those days the NFL was the better team, it was the better league. So the Eagles have actually 4 championships. We're one behind you. However, we've been to 3 Super Bowls in the last 26 years? How many have you been to? You can't even go to the NFC Championship game. When are you going to hold your quarterback responsible? We hold our quarterbacks responsible. Hell, we've already gone through 3 of them. We keep going. When are you going to hold your quarterback responsible? When are you going to hold your team responsible? When are you going to stop blaming Jason Garrett that doesn't even coach them anymore? Mike McCarthy stinks. That's what I want to know. I keep hearing, we got 5 rings. You got 1 ring. No, we got 4 rings. We got 4. That's the truth. Well, we don't count before the Super Bowl. Why? Why do we not? Because it doesn't say Super Bowl? That's stupid. That's stupid. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. Championships are championships. And that's the way it goes. Now, if you want to say, well, you can't talk about the 40s and those championships, then I'm going to say you can't be talking about your 5 Super Bowls. Let's start at the 2000s. Tell me what you've done. What have the Cowboys done? Absolutely nothing. See, here's the truth. This is really what's happening. And this is why I don't think Mark Holmes is going to be able to take it this year. I think he's going to end up in a mental institution. I think Michael Anthony is going to lose. I think they're all going to lose it. Because the truth is that window is very quickly closing. It's closing and closing fast. Very, very, very fast. Once Dak Prescott it's concluded he can no longer be the franchise quarterback. He can't win the big game, which is coming soon in the next year or two. At that point, you have to start all over. You're going to have to go find yourself a quarterback in the draft. You're going to have to go find yourself a quarterback. You're not going to find him. You're not going to, you don't have Jerry Jones being 3,339 years old, doesn't have the common sense, the mind capacity to calculate the calculations of the cornbread like Howie Roseman. Do you really think the Dallas Cowboys are capable of doing what the Eagles did when they went up and got Wentz, to trade multiple times to get up there and get him? Do you think that they have that kind of sense? They do not. Do you think they have the sense to trade with New Orleans Saints, get that extra first-round pick, and then be put in a position where you got Jalen Carter? You know, that's the other thing. He keeps talking about Mozzie Smith. Oh, the Cowboys, they got Mozzie Smith. They know what they're doing in the draft. You mean like Jordan Davis? Remember you wanted him, you cried for him. Jordan Davis, you mean like drafting like that? You mean like drafting like Jalen Carter? You mean like that? You mean like, or maybe Nolan Smith. Half your fan base thought you drafted Nolan Smith. That's who you wanted. You guys are so far behind us at every turn. It's not even funny. And when you have the Cowboys pinned back, all they can throw is their 5 championships. Well, if you're going to throw in your 5 championships, I'm throwing in the 3 from even back further. Because if you're going to keep going back in history, then I'm going to keep going back in history. Why stop there? Let's go to the 1700s. Let's go to the 1500s. Let's go back to before they invented the wheel. Let's do it. It's so stupid. After 30 years, it's time to stop talking about your 5 rings. It's great. Put it up there. Look at it. Say this is great. But the truth of the matter is, the Eagle fan base as a whole has seen and been involved in a lot more relevant football than the Dallas Cowboys fans have seen. It's the truth. You have to be an older Cowboy fan at this point to have seen the Dallas Cowboys win Super Bowls, especially multiple Super Bowls. So you got me excited. My 3 chins in the back of my head are banging into this thing. So, this is going to be a tough year for Mark Holmes because I'm coming for the meats. I ain't laying off. It's war. All right? Because I see what's going on. I know what's happening to the Cowboys. Jerry Jones, 3,340 years old. He's running out of time. His quarterback is running out of time. They don't have much time, and Dallas has got to hit the reset button. They're going to hit the reset button. They're going to get like, here's what happened. They'll get like, and mark my words, mark this, clip this, record it, do whatever, because in 2025, you're going to be saying Philly 500 was right. In 2 years from now, they will bail on Dak Prescott. They will bail on him because he cannot win. At that point, they will ruin the rest of Micah Parsons' career. And actually, they probably won't. What will probably happen is he'll hit the free agent market and he will become a Philadelphia Eagle. By that time, the Eagles may have 2 more rings, bringing us to what? 6 championships? You see, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, well, we're going to talk about our 5 rings from 30 plus years ago. However, you can't talk about what came before that. If you want to go back in time, we can go back in time. You're only one championship ahead of us. But the truth of the matter is, what really matters and what really is the fact of everything is that the Philadelphia Eagle fan base, from young to old, have watched more relevant football, bigger games, have seen their team win championships, things that most of your fan base hasn't done. Now, Mark Holmes is going to tell those fan base people who have never seen their team play in a championship game or win a Super Bowl, he's telling them, you can't talk about it. So, half the fan base can't talk about it because the other older fan base that saw it don't think that they deserve it. It's beautiful. It's mutiny. A house divided cannot stand. That's the truth. And the Dallas Cowboys are about to crumble. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's how we vision. We're all just living in it.
It's airborne. It's airborne. So I breathe it in. I breathe it out. Kind of makes sense. I'll tell you, I'm one of the dumbest mother humpers out there. What? Eagle fans, kiss my high yellow high parts, okay? Because your ass got blown out. It wasn't in doubt whatsoever at any point. Your team was ass. You can talk about all this bullshit that you were playing, your bench warmers and everything else, but you didn't complain about that when you did that against the Washington COVIDs. The reason your ass was in the playoffs was because of the same thing you blame us for. You suck. You're sorry. And I'm sick of watching week after week where we see bullshit ass calls that aren't called on other teams. This officiating sucks in the NFL. We don't want to have full-time employees. You need to have somebody whose ass is on the line. If you can go ahead and say, CeeDee Lamb, we're going to find you $15,000 because your shirt's untucked, you better damn sure end up finding or firing somebody who affects a game's outcome, because this is some bullshit. And now that you are in bed with gambling, you have to sit here and wonder what kind of shit is going on right here, because I'm sorry.
There's too many times where it seems like the outcome is a little bit funny, if you know what I'm saying.
Kiss my ass, okay? Find your cash someplace else. How about that? I really don't know how to take this. And, of course, want to say Jalen Hurts because they got a great team. I'll be honest with you. If you don't want to go to a trash-ass team, and I guess in a way, he's trying to say that the Cowboys are trash. First of all, Dak Prescott kicks ass in the division. What are you doing to get better? What are you doing to get better? That's the dumbest shit. Don't waste my goddamn time up in here with dumb shit. Seriously. If that's all the hell you got, stay the fuck out of here. Come on, man. Make me lose my damn religion. Stupid ass. Don't waste my time with stupid ass shit.
Russell Maryland and Leon Lett. Okay. This the Eagles?
Kelly Porter.
Eagles.
Damn it!
Nolan Smith.
Now, I always fall in love with somebody. I'm in love with the big man. I ain't gonna lie. I'm in love with the big man. Oh my God. Well, Jordan Davis, he got that. Jordan Davis is 6'6" and 3/8 inches tall. That's taller than Gronk. You understand that? That's taller than the tight end. That's taller than Gronk. Okay? He's 341 pounds. More pounds for the ounce. That's big. How big is that? That's more weight than Jason Peters. So listen to me. He's taller than Gronk, heavier than Jason Peters. So you're like, okay, big deal, big deal, big deal. So what? He's tall, he's fat, blah, blah, blah. But wait, there's more. Dude ran a 4.78 40. Now, I know you're thinking about, well, the wide receivers ran a 4.4. Dudes. He's 341 pounds, 6'6", 3/8 inches tall. How fast is that? That's faster than Pat Mahomes ran his 40 at the combine. Did I get your attention now?
Oh, God. No. I want to be like the Eagles.
Hi, Michael Anthony, Fitness Hit MAF.